Canadian Championships coming up this week in Calgary. Official practice begins on Tuesday at 3 rinks in the Calgary metro area: Norma Bush Arena, Father David Bauer, and the Saddle Dome. The actual competition gets underway Wednesday with some of the novice and junior events. Senior events start Thursday at the Saddle Dome. Get your pens and paper ready, and later in the show we'll give you the broadcast schedule for both CTV and Sportsnet. In the meantime, let's check the news. 7-time Canadian dance champions Shaylin Bourne and Victor Kratz have announced they will not be competing at Canadians. Shay's old knee injury has been causing some serious problems, and she's getting some heavy-duty medical attention. The team was very disappointed after the Grand Prix final, and we'd love to talk with them about this latest incident, but unable to reach them, we have contacted David Dorr, the Director General of the CFSA. David, can you give us an idea about what's going on?
Yes, Debbie, the injury, which really is now to Shaylin's other knee, is something that has been there for a couple of months, and they were hoping to forestall some major treatment on it as long as they could and try to complete the competitive season, but that now turns out to be impossible, especially sort of after last weekend. It just sort of has gotten worse. So it doesn't appear that there needs to be any operation at the moment, but there does need to be some very serious treatment done to it, and so the treatment has begun now in the hopes that they can be ready, of course, for the World Championships.
Was this a one single injury, or was it a build-up, much like the other one?
No, it's a build-up exactly like the other one, and it's just unfortunate, but it's just been building, and it's one of those things, as you know, as an athlete, you kind of hope you can go by it and sort of make it go away, or at least sort of live with it, but there just comes a point when you can't live with it.
What do you think, maybe prognosis is not the right word, but what do you forecast will happen with regards to, say, 4 continents and the World Championships? Can they be back at their best?
Well, in discussion, and certainly this decision was made very much in concert with me, in this discussion, the whole aim of this is to be ready at top speed for the World Championships. In order to do that, we had to look at the calendar and the time span here available, and if we delayed the treatment, or if Shaylin delayed the treatment any longer, it meant the time span between then and the World Championships was just too small for a full recovery. So we decided, as a matter of fact, she is actually having the treatment as we speak, and hopefully the treatment will only take a couple of days, and then they can be back on the ice and be starting to train again. She has to rebuild the knee as well. So our prognosis is we're hopeful that the long-term goal is to be ready for the World Championship.
Well, please relay to them our best wishes. We will miss them desperately next week in Calgary, but we wish them the very best. Thank you, David.
Okay.
Calgary will be hosting the Canadian Championships for the first time since 1977, when the country's best novice, junior, and senior skaters will compete. If you're from the Calgary area and haven't been able to get event tickets, guess what? For just $5, you can take in any of the practice sessions, and quite frankly, I often think it's at practice that you see some of the best skating. Apart from the big names, who should you be looking for in senior? Let's start in the East. In women, Angie DeRoshi is back on the scene to take a run at recapturing the title she won in '98. She looked strong at the Eastern Divisionals, winning quite handily. She was happy with the result, but knew she could do better.
It was kind of exciting. It wasn't really my best performance. I've been skating a lot better than that, but you know, you take what you have and then just keep improving on it.
Annie Belmar is the next highest contender, and with some more international experience now under her belt and a second place at the '99 Nationals, she must be feeling more confident heading to Calgary. In men, Jeff Langdon won his qualifier easily. He's been doing some training with Paul Wirtz and seems to have his old touch back. Fedor Andreev is the one we'll all be watching. He was exceptional on the world scene, finishing 3rd at the ISU Junior Grand Prix final. He wants to be champion one day, but he's also realistic.
I'm not a very patient person, but I think with this one I'm going to have to be a little bit patient, because obviously everything doesn't come at once. It takes a lot of practice and like dedications, and it's not going to come the first year.
Jason Dainame also returns to the Canadians with some world experience under his belt. In dance, DeBroy and Lausanne easily took their Atlantic division with the expected beauty and grace they are becoming famous for. With Lefebvre and Brunet out, they will challenge Wing and Lowe for that coveted second place at Nationals. Finally, pairs. Chris and Christy will have a fight on their hands to hold on to their crown, with Sally and Peltier seeming poised to take the reins. Chris and Christy are prepared and ready to go after picking up more solid experience this year. Jamie and David have taken the skating scene by storm, winning Skate America, finishing second at Nations Cup, and making the Grand Prix final in France last week. Despite finishing fifth and last at the event, they're very happy.
Overall, I think that, this is a very nerve-wracking event. It seems to be everybody was a bit uptight and more nervous than usual, but I think we gave it our best shot, and I personally wanted to give more emotion in this because I said today before we skated that no matter what happens, let's just focus our energy on the little things and put some feeling into the program, and I think we did that.
Moving out of Ontario and heading west, I should point out there are no pair teams from the west. Although Christy Sargent is originally from Edmonton, she represents the Pierrefonds Club in Quebec. Jamie Salé is the only pair skater still officially connected to the west through her home club in Red Deer, Alberta. No pair skaters, but plenty of other senior hopefuls from the prairies and beyond memorize these faces. The West is full of question marks, the first and biggest being Emmanuel Sandou. He tripped over his shoelaces in the off-season, injuring his ankle, and hasn't been able to recover properly since. A dismal performance at the Nations Cup was followed by a withdrawal at the Cup of Russia and has many whispering about whether he's ready. Edmonton's Ben Pereira has been quietly making people take notice in the men's field. He easily won his divisionals and was very impressive at Skate Canada in the fall. His Western-based theme should also draw the crowd into it in Calgary. He could surprise. In women, more questions. Keila O's finished a troubled third at her divisionals and still has people scratching their heads. There are signs of brilliance, but can she put it all together in Calgary? Michelle Curry is coming off some great international experience and a second-place finish to Nicole Watt at divisionals. She has to be considered confident and excited after being given a vote of confidence by the CFSA. The real lady to watch is Nicole Watt. The Saskatchewan native has battled juvenile arthritis to win her divisionals and come out of what seems like nowhere. Nicole is excited about the opportunity that Calgary is giving her.
Really looking forward to Canadians. This will be the first Canadians that I've gone to, and it's going to be lots of fun. So I hope they have a great skate there too.
The dance picture is just one couple really, Megan Wing and Aaron Lowe. They hope to ride new coaching and a new revitalized program to second place on the podium at Nationals. This year has meant a whole new approach for them.
Moved to Detroit with two new coaches, and I think the main thing this season is just trying to perform what they've given us this year to the best of our ability. The technique and the choreography that Igor and Liz have given us this season, it's a little bit riskier, it's harder to perform. And if we can perform it to the best of our ability, we'll be pretty pleased with that. And then the retirement of our second-place team, it'd be nice to slip into their shoes.
And with Born and Kratz out, maybe that'll be first. We'll be spending a little more time today with Megan and Aaron. They'll be visiting with us later in studio. Missing in action and definitely out of the Nationals is Jean-Francois Hébert. He has had successful groin surgery after an injury late in the fall, but is still in pain and undergoing further tests. We'll miss you, Ted. Big things will be happening off the ice in Calgary, too. The CFSA has announced that 50 cents from each ticket for the senior men's and women's finals on Saturday will be donated to the Kids Help Phone, a nonprofit organization that provides national telephone counseling and referral service to Canadian children and youth. Maybe you'll be helping there. Well, there are a few suggestions for your dance card next week, but we're not done yet. Let's pause for a mo and return for a lesson in skating history.
It's a fact.